A young poor Filipino boy from Cebu walks onto the AGT stage with his rescued stray dog beside him on a worn-out blue rope that isn't even a real leash. People in the audience start smiling because they assume this is one of those cute comedic break acts. Simon is sitting back in his chair, not expecting anything extreme, probably thinking a silly novelty routine is about to happen. The boy is shy, very quiet, and his English is soft and broken. He tells the judges gently that this dog saved his depression when his father abandoned them during a typhoon recovery period. That single line suddenly changes the temperature inside the building. Simon's posture switches. Sophia puts her hand on her chest. The dog sits directly beside the boy, calm, disciplined, like he completely understands this moment is more than a performance. The boy holds an old beaten-up acoustic guitar covered in scratches and duct tape. Everybody naturally expects this to be basic strumming or a cute trick. He breathes once, closes his eyes, and then the entire room gets stunned. He starts playing fingerstyle guitar like Tommy Emmanuel level. The tone of his raw broken guitar becomes unreal. His fingers move like a trained professional speed artist even though this instrument looks like it was rescued from a trash fire. And then the dog begins to howl, but not randomly, not crazy, not chaotic. The dog howls exactly in pitch with his chord progressions like a duet they rehearsed for years inside poverty trauma. People in the crowd start standing. Judges lean forward like they discovered another dimension. He switches chord progression and the dog follows perfectly like they share telepathy. When they finish, the studio explodes with a screaming standing ovation that lasts long before judges even say a word. Simon stands first. His eyes glow like he just witnessed the most unexplainable miracle musical connection in 18 years of judging. He tells the boy this might be the most emotional dog performance in AGT history. The boy starts crying and hugs the dog like this animal is literally his entire world. Overnight episode 2 begins with the internet exploding. AGT uploads his audition and within 12 hours it hits over 42 million views and trending #1 in multiple countries. Teachers cry. Dog lovers cry. Depressed people comment that they felt healing watching two souls comfort each other without even speaking language. Reaction videos go viral where military veterans say this performance made them believe again. But as always, the internet also creates hate. Some people claim the dog was secretly trained with frequencies and it is all staged. Some say this is too good to be real. So on callbacks when the boy returns, he says he will prove this love and connection live in real time. He changes the scale mid-performance without even warning anyone. The dog follows perfectly again, proving this is not programming, this is soul bond. Heidi screams because she never saw anything like this before. Mel B cries openly. Sophia covers her face because the emotional weight is hitting too deep. Simon leans in and quietly speaks that this is not animal entertainment, this is the purest love language. The boy finishes shaking in tears, holding his dog tight, knowing he just proved his entire heart to the whole world. During the semi-final week everything suddenly becomes extremely heavy and real for the young Filipino boy and his dog. Production stress is different now. There are lights, chaos, interviews, press cameras, and schedule pressure from morning to midnight. The boy is not used to this type of environment. He grew up in quiet poverty areas where most nights were just street noise, humidity, and silence under bridges when storms destroyed everything. The dog suddenly becomes sick from the loud volume and heat. The dog starts trembling and panting non-stop. The boy panics because this dog is not just a pet to him. This dog is his family, his survival partner, his protector from loneliness, the only creature that stayed when every adult abandoned him emotionally. He tells producers if his dog is not okay, he is withdrawing immediately. He has zero hesitation. He cares more about the dog than winning any show or fame or money. Production calls emergency medical support. A vet is rushed to backstage to help stabilize the dog. The boy sits on the ground praying in Tagalog, whispering words of faith and childhood trauma at the same time. Hours later the dog's breathing begins to normalize slowly. When his name gets called for stage the boy kisses the dog's forehead and whispers, "Just stay with me like always." He gets on stage with tears still stuck inside his eyes from panic. He chooses Ed Sheeran emotional ballad fingerstyle remix. The entire live room feels like everyone is holding one synchronized breath. As he begins, the dog softly howls along perfectly like a fragile violin line placed over acoustic storytelling. This time the howls are gentle, sacred, almost whisper level. The audience goes silent because this doesn't feel like talent show gimmick anymore. This feels like spiritual healing. Sophia literally covers her mouth slowly because she cannot believe what she is witnessing. When they finish, the applause starts slow, then gets louder, then becomes a roar of emotional surge bigger than just entertainment. Judges stand one after another. And Sophia tells the boy this performance healed something broken in her spirit and probably millions of lonely people in America right now who needed this reminder that love still exists in pure form. Now episode 4 becomes the global world ignition stage. Within 48 hours every news channel is running his clips. CNN calls it, the most magical unexplainable dog-human music connection ever recorded on American television. ESPN Sports Center posts them because even athletes connect with this storyline of loyalty and trauma bonding. A celebrity animal therapist explains on morning TV that their brainwaves probably synced during trauma years, which created a unique dual harmony frequency. Filmmakers in LA talk about turning this into future documentary film. The boy reveals details from his childhood that break people emotionally. When the typhoons hit their region in Cebu years ago, he and this dog used to sleep hungry under broken bridges because they lost everything. He picked this dog bleeding and alone off the street and gave him life. And now this dog is giving him life back in return in the most impossible global stage. In the semi-final live show, he performs classical guitar mixed with whistle melodic phrasing. The dog copies his whistle line and audiences literally do not process what they are seeing at first because it is too synchronically perfect. When they finish, judges do not speak for 12 seconds. That silence becomes more powerful than any words ever could. Simon finally breaks the silence and tells him he cannot judge this like normal talent. He tells him this is miracle and art at the same time. The boy begins crying with his dog on stage again. And the whole world watching knows this story is bigger than competition and bigger than television. This is a story about unconditional loyalty that survived poverty, storms, abandonment, trauma, and then rose to global spotlight like destiny finally paying back a child who never gave up on love. Finals night arrives and it feels like the air inside the theater is heavier than any finale night in AGT history. Everyone knows this performance is not just another act. This is not just a singer, not just a musician, not just a trick animal. This is a living love story between a boy who grew up unseen and a dog who was thrown away by the world until they found each other in the most broken place possible. The boy stands center stage holding his guitar like it is the last physical possession that still connects his past to his future. The dog is beside him calm, stable, tail slow waving like he is telling the world he is ready to do this final mission with his boy. Before starting the performance, the boy speaks from the heart and says this performance is for every abandoned kid who ever slept hungry and every abandoned animal who ever waited for a human that never came. The entire room instantly shifts into deep meaning state. He begins playing the guitar but this time it is not a cover. He wrote an original song from his soul. Every string he plucks feels like he is bleeding every moment of pain, suffering, heartbreak, hope, and love that built their survival journey. When the dog begins to howl, this time it does not sound like dog shouting. It sounds like angel crying with melody. Audience members are sobbing. Cameras catch people crying with their palms over their mouth. Even tough men in the crowd are wiping tears. This is not performance. This is a real living miracle happening live and raw. When they finish the lights go quiet. No judge can speak. Simon takes a full breath, stands up slowly, walks toward the golden buzzer, looks at them both, and presses the golden buzzer himself even though this is the final stage where golden buzzers are not normally allowed anymore. He says rule break is necessary when soul truth is happening. Confetti explodes like heaven just rained blessings on them. The boy drops down to his knees hugging his dog with uncontrollable shaking tears. Simon goes on stage and hugs them both. He whispers to the boy that in all his 18 years judging talent shows he has never felt something this powerful, this pure, this divine. The boy keeps crying into the fur of the dog who saved his life. After AGT ends their life changes in a way nobody predicted. They become a symbol. USA News channels start reporting that animal shelters across the country saw a massive increase in dog adoption requests the very next month. People start writing comments that this performance healed their depression. Psychologists say this was a moment where the world remembered the pure type of loyalty humans forgot exists. Netflix calls and offers documentary deal with full creative control for their story. They start touring across states playing emotional concerts where the dog becomes ambassador for abused and abandoned animals. People buy tickets not because they want entertainment but because they want to feel something real again. The boy becomes a symbol of hope for global youth who grew up broken. Music executives try to sign him but he rejects the deals that try to change his identity because he knows this story cannot be sold out or commercialized incorrectly. When the season ends they return home to the Philippines and they build a free rescue and medical clinic for stray dogs dedicated to the loyalty that saved them both. They use their AGT fame money for animals that have no voice and no home. The final poetic closure of their journey is that the dog who once was bleeding alone in the rain became the dog who helped save thousands of other dogs around the world just by singing in harmony with the boy who refused to give up. Their story becomes legend. Their love becomes proof. Their bond becomes history. This dog did not just sing. This dog helped heal the world.